Life has a way of teaching you what truly holds value. You've worked hard for decades, earning, saving, sacrificing, and often putting the needs of others before your own. And yet when you look back, some of the things you spent your money, time, and energy on didn't bring the fulfillment you thought they would. That's the truth about chasing what doesn't matter. It leaves you empty, always wanting more, never satisfied.
At this stage of life, the things that once seemed so important, another car, a bigger house, the latest clothes, or endless gadgets begin to lose their shine. You start to see that none of it really fills the soul. The clothes go out of style. The car loses its newness. The house collects dust.
And the money spent on things to impress other people becomes nothing more than clutter in your home and clutter in your spirit. When you spend on what doesn't matter, you are trading your limited resources, your money, your time, your energy for something that gives nothing meaningful back.
And beyond, your resources are far too precious to waste. Every dollar, every minute, every ounce of energy should be invested in what truly enriches your life, your health, your peace of mind, your relationships, your passions, your experiences.
Think about the difference between buying something that fades and creating a memory that lasts. A dinner with your grandchildren, a trip. You've always dreamed of taking a class. You've always wanted to try. Those things stay with you.
They become part of your story, something you carry in your heart instead of on a shelf. A closet full of clothes might not make you smile when years, but a photograph of you laughing with loved ones while spending on what doesn't matter. It isn't just about money.
It's also about how you spend your attention, hours lost scrolling through negativity, conversations spent on gossip, energy wasted worrying about what others think. Those are costs too, and the return on that kind of investment is always emptiness. But when you spend your attention on learning, on gratitude, on love, on moments that fill you up, you are truly investing in yourself. This season of life is not about accumulation, it's about simplification. It's about recognizing that less can actually mean more. Less clutter, more clarity. Less distraction, more peace. Less chasing, more living. Every choice you make about where you place your time and money is shaping the quality of your retirement, the quality of your joy, the quality of the life you still have ahead of you. When you stop spending on what doesn't matter, you suddenly find yourself rich in what does, rich in peace, rich in freedom, rich in experiences, and rich in love. That is the kind of wealth no amount of possessions could ever replace. My friends, life after say is not about shrinking.
It's about rising into a new kind of freedom. You've carried enough weight, sacrificed enough time, and given enough of yourself to everyone else. Now is the moment to release what no longer serves. You stop putting yourself last. Stop holding on to grudges. Stop telling yourself it's too late. Stop badgering your health. Stop comparing yourself. Stop clinging to toxic people. Stop spending on what doesn't matter, because every day you wake up is a gift, and it's never too late to choose joy, to choose peace, to choose yourself.
After your heart, your mind, and your spirit deserve peace more than ever before. You've carried enough burdens, fought enough battles, and endured enough storms.
Yet too many people still hold on to relationships that drain them, friendships that are one-sided, family members who only bring drama, or companions who diminish instead of uplift. And the question becomes, why do we cling to people who steal our energy, disturb our peace, and keep us from living freely? The truth is, we cling out of habit. We cling out of fear of being alone.
We cling because we tell ourselves, I've known them too long to let go now. But the length of time someone has been in your life does not mean they deserve a permanent place in it. Time does not equal loyalty, and loyalty does not mean sacrificing your well-being. Toxic people reveal themselves in patterns. They criticize more than they encourage. They take more than they give. They show up when they need something, but disappear when you need them. They make you question your worth, your choices, and sometimes even your sanity. And at this stage of life, you cannot afford to keep explaining, defending, or excusing behavior that poisons your spirit. Clinging to toxic people is like holding onto a rope that's burning your hand. The longer you hold, the deeper the damage. The moment you let go, the healing can finally begin. You see, letting go is not cruelty, it's protection. It's not about hating them, it's about loving yourself enough to walk away. Some people stay in toxic relationships because they don't want to face the silence that comes after letting go. But silence is not your enemy.
Silence is where you rediscover yourself. Silence is where your energy begins to rebuild. Silence is where peace grows, and peace, after say, is priceless. You are not responsible for fixing anyone. You are not responsible for carrying a naom's chaos on your shoulders.
You are not required to remain tied to people who only bring you pain. Your responsibility is to your health, to your joy, to your future, and every time you release someone who is toxic, you make more room for those who bring light, kindness, and genuine love into your life.
Toxic people thrive on control, on guilt, on manipulation. But once you decide that your peace matters more than their approval, they lose their power over you. This is the season to choose wisely, to surround yourself with people who make you laugh louder, breathe easier, and feel lighter.
People who celebrate you instead of competing with you. People who love you without conditions. People who remind you of your worth. When you forget it yourself at this stage, clinging to toxic people is nothing more than surrendering your joy.
And joy is far too precious to be handed over to those who never valued it in the first place. By the time you reach you've walked a path that is entirely your own. You've lived through seasons of joy and seasons of pain. You've built, you've lost, you've loved, and you've learned.
Yet even with all the wisdom, many people still find themselves looking over the fence, measuring their lives against someone else's.
They look at their neighbor's retirement plans, their friend's house, their sibling's health, or even the choices of younger generations, and they whisper to themselves, maybe, I should have done more, maybe, I should have had more, maybe, I should be further than I am. Comparison is a thief.
It robs you of peace. It blinds you to the blessings you already hold. And after a comparison can become even more dangerous because it feeds a false belief that your life didn't measure up, that you missed your chance, that somehow you are behind. But here's the truth: you are not behind.
You are right where you mean to be. Every twist in your journey brought you here to this moment. Think about it. What good has comparison ever truly brought you?
When you compare, you overlook the fact that the person you're watching has their own battles, their own regrets, their own silent struggles. You will never see. You may look at their highlight reel.
You don't see their private pain. And when you compare yourself to a younger generation, you're forgetting the richness of wisdom, patience, and resilience that only decades of living can give you. Life is not a race.
There is no finish line you're supposed to cross at the same time as everyone else. Your life is not supposed to look like your sister's, your neighbor's, or your friend's. It's supposed to look like yours. And when you keep measuring yourself against others, you miss the joy of embracing your own story at this stage of life. Comparison not only steals your joy, it steals your time that could be spent savoring simple pleasures, time that could be spent creating new memories,
Time that could be spent being grateful for the fact that you are still here with breath in your lungs and chances still ahead of you. When you compare, you waste energy longing for someone else's life instead of celebrating your own. Every wrinkle on your face, every scar on your body, every gray strand of hair tells the story of survival, resilience, and love. Those are your trophies. They are not to be hidden or diminished because someone else looks different, lives different, or chooses different. Your story has value simply because it is yours. When you stop comparing yourself, you free yourself. You begin to see your blessings clearly. You begin to live with gratitude instead of envy. You begin to create joy instead of chasing it in someone else's life.
And you begin to understand that happiness has never been about being better than others. It has always been about being at peace with yourself. To beginning again is not failure, it's courage, it's strength. It's proof that you still believe your life has more to give, and it does. There are books you haven't read, yet paths you haven't walked, yet laughter you haven't shared, yet the clock is ticking, yes, but not to remind you that time is running out. It's to remind you that time is still here, time is still yours.
Time is still offering you more. If you are willing to take it, by the time you reach to your body has carried you through 6 decades of living, through long days of work, sleepless nights of worry, moments of joy, and seasons of stress.
Every heartbeat, every breath, every step has been evidence of your strength. But here's the truth: too many people overlook your body remembers everything. It remembers how well you did. It remembers the times you deprived it of rest. It remembers the stress you carried and the care you denied.
And at this stage of life, the bill always comes due. Ignoring your health after is like ignoring the foundation of your home. You can decorate the rooms, polish the windows, rearrange the furniture. But if the foundation is crumbling, everything else eventually falls apart.
Your health is the foundation. Without it, the dreams of travel, the joy of family gatherings, the freedom of retirement, and the peace of simply enjoying your own life start to slip away. This is the season to listen to your body with more intention than ever before.
The aches and pains are not random, they are signals. The fatigue is not weakness, it's your body whispering that it needs care. The changes in your strength, balance, or energy are not punishments of age. They are reminders that it's time to invest more deeply in yourself.
Too many people dismiss these signs, convincing themselves it's normal, that it's just part of getting old. But the truth is, small changes in your daily habits can transform the quality of your years. Head movement matters.
Even a short walk each day can strengthen your heart, lift your mood, and clear your mind. Nutrition matters. Choosing food that nourishes instead of harms can be the difference between energy and exhaustion, between illness and vitality. Sleep matters. Rest is not wasted time.
It's when your body repairs, when your mind resets, when your strength is renewed, and checkups matter. Stop avoiding the doctor out of fear of what you might hear. Facing the truth about your health today could add years of life tomorrow. You've spent decades working hard, sacrificing, and showing up for everyone else. Now your health deserves to be your priority, because health is not just about living longer, it's about living better. It's about having the energy to play with your grandchildren, the strength to travel to places you've always dreamed of, the clarity to enjoy quiet mornings, and the vitality to wake up each day ready to live, not just exist.
At A and beyond, you can no longer afford to treat your health as an afterthought. It must be the very center of how you live each day, because when you stop ignoring your health, you give yourself the gift of freedom, the freedom to truly enjoy the life you've worked so hard to create.
It's not about pretending you weren't hurt. It's about refusing to let that hurt have power over you anymore. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It is for you. It is the key that unlocks your freedom when you release the anger, the bitterness, and the resentment. You make space for peace, for laughter, for lightness in your heart. Think about it. How many years have you replayed the same memory, told the same story, kept the wound alive by picking at it? What could you have created? What joy could you have felt if you had laid that burden down sooner?
At this stage of life, your energy is far too sacred to be wasted on grudges. You need that energy for your health, for your passions, for the moments that still lie ahead of you. And the truth is, forgiveness does not always mean reconciliation.
It doesn't mean you have to let those people back into your life. It simply means you are choosing not to let them live rent-free in your mind and in your heart. It means you are reclaiming your power, because every time you release a grudge, you rise a little higher, you breathe a little deeper. You feel a little lighter, and you step closer to the peace you've been longing for all along. One of the most dangerous lies we tell ourselves after a certain ages that our time has passed, that we missed our chance, that the dream we once carried in our heart is no longer possible.
After it can be tempting to settle into routines and convince yourself that the big opportunities belong only to the younger generation. But that is nothing more than a limiting belief, a story you repeat until you start believing it's true. Think about it.
Who told you there was a deadline on living fully? Who decided that you should stop exploring, stop learning, stop dreaming? Society may try to tell you that your best years are behind you, but life does not operate on society's timeline. Life does not care how old you are.
It cares how willing you are to keep moving, to keep showing up, to keep saying yes to new experiences. There are people who discovered their passion late in life and changed the world.
There are authors who wrote their first book at painters, who picked up a brush at teachers, who started mentoring at. Some people find love in their office, some build businesses after retirement, some travel to places they never imagined seeing in their office. Age does not close doors. He opens different ones. If you are brave enough to walk through them, every time you say, it's too late, you are placing yourself in a box that doesn't exist. You're limiting the joy. You could have the skills. You could still master the people you could still meet. You're cutting yourself off from the gift of possibility, and possibility is alive until your very last breath that said, and beyond you have something that the young do not wisdom, you have perspective, patience, and resilience earned through decades of living that wisdom is fuel. That wisdom is your advantage when you bring it into new experiences, new passions, and new chapters. You don't just participate, you thrive. So when the voice in your head says, "It's too late," remember that what it really means is, "I'm afraid." For so many years you have carried the weight of being the provider, the caregiver, the one who shows up for everyone else. You have put your children first, your partner first, your job first, your responsibilities first. You have been the rock, the anchor, the safe place for others to lean on. But somewhere along the way, you may have forgotten that you too deserve to be nurtured, loved, and cared for.
After life whispers to you with more urgency, stop putting yourself last. This is the time to look in the mirror and honor the person staring back at you. The truth is, when you constantly put yourself at the bottom of the list, you are teaching others that your needs do not matter, but they do.
They matter deeply. Putting yourself first doesn't mean being selfish. It means being whole. It means allowing yourself to rest without guilt, to say no without apology, and to pursue joy without permission.
It means listening to your body when it says, "I need to slow down," or "I need to move," or "I need care." For decades, you poured into everyone else's cup sometimes until you felt empty.
But this chapter of life asks you to pour into yourself first so that everything you give to others flows from abundance, not exhaustion. Self-care is not a luxury. It is a necessity, and the beautiful truth is this. When you treat yourself with love, you radiate a light that inspires others to do the same. This is the season to take yourself seriously, to go to that doctor's appointment you've been putting off, to book the trip you've always dreamed about, to spend a quiet afternoon doing nothing but reading a book that makes you laugh, to stop apologizing for taking up space and start celebrating that you are still here, still breathing, still capable of creating new joy. Because your time is not mean to be wasted on neglecting yourself. Your time is meant to